Will Nottingham Forest, AFC Bournemouth and Fulham survive second season syndrome? We did have a little look at this the other day when we spoke about who could be involved in the Premier League relegation battle next season, and we debunked the second season theory as a bit of a myth. Only 3 sides out of the previous 11 that have stayed up in their first season have actually gone down in their second. Before we get into this video today, guys, do make sure, of course, to share your thoughts down below, especially if you're a Nottingham Forest, AFC Bournemouth or Fulham fan. Do make sure, of course, to hit that like button as we go for 500 likes on this video. It is free to do and it is massively appreciated if you hit the thumbs up button, and do make sure you've hit the subscribe button for more Premier League content. 75% of you haven't subscribed. Go on, it's free and it helps me out. Hit it. So then, like I say, we did look at the second season syndrome theory a couple days ago, and like I say, with 3 sides out of the previous 11 that have stayed up in their first season following promotion being relegated, it means that 27% of sides in their second season have gone down. So I think second season syndrome is overplayed. It does mean, though, that with 3 sides staying up last season, there is a good chance one of these 3 might go down this year. Obviously, all 3 of them could go down. All 3 of them could stay up. Let's have a little look at those 3 teams today. First up, then, you've got Fulham. Now, Fulham have been the leader of this pack of 3 teams, marching them through the football pyramid. They won the league when these 3 were all in the Championship just over a season ago, and they did finish 10th, which is the highest out of these 3 teams in their first season in the Premier League. AFC Bournemouth finished 2nd in the Championship and finished 15th in the Premier League last season, which means they finished 2nd out of these 3 sides again. Nottingham Forest won the playoffs in the Championship after finishing 4th just over a season ago, and then they stayed up following these 2 sides as they finished in 16th place in the Premier League last year. It will be interesting to see if the order of these 3 does shuffle over the next Premier League season. As I say, over those last 2 years, Fulham have been the leader of the pack. But will we see AFC Bournemouth or Nottingham Forest finish ahead of them this year? When it comes to the manager of these 3 teams, I like all 3 of them. They've all done fantastic jobs, and I'm excited to see what they can do coming into this season. Marco Silva and Steve Cooper are part of the Championship project that got their teams into the Premier League. Gary O'Neill came into AFC Bournemouth very early on into last season after Scott Parker's departure, so he's been there for about 10 months now, but he did a fantastic job to get AFC Bournemouth over the line when a lot of people writing them off. Fulham finished in an impressive 10th place in the Premier League last year. Really good stuff from a team that's just come up from the Championship and back in their first season in the Premier League. To get a top half finish, it is incredible. 52 points and a positive goal difference as well. Really good stuff. 55 goals scored, 53 conceded. AFC Bournemouth and Nottingham Forest were more joint at the hip, both battling for their lives to stay up, and they both did survive together. AFC Bournemouth finished in 15th place, 1 point ahead of Nottingham Forest, who finished in 16th place. Forest did get a better goal difference than AFC Bournemouth, though. They did score 1 goal more than them and did just concede a little bit less than them. Coming into this season, the bookmakers think Fulham will perform the best out of these 3 sides again, putting them in 15th place. They think Nottingham Forest will now be the 2nd best out of these 3 teams, finishing in 16th place this season. The bookmakers have gone for Bournemouth to be relegated again. They've put AFC Bournemouth to finish 18th in the Premier League this year. They did write them off as the bottom team last year, and look what they did. They proved them wrong. Another statistic that doesn't go in AFC Bournemouth's favour, but they might not care much about this, is that over the last 10 years in their second seasons, the team that finished 1st in the Championship in their second season in the Premier League have finished 9th. The teams that have won the Championship playoffs over the last 10 years and stayed up in their first season, on average, have finished 13th in the Premier League in their second season, which is also a good omen for Nottingham Forest. As for the teams that finished 2nd in the Championship and stayed up in their first season, on average in their second season over the last 10 years, they finished in 18th place. That is only a fun little statistic to show, though, over the last 10 years. Bournemouth fans, don't be too worried. It's in your hands to change that record this season, I guess. When it comes to the expected goals, all 3 sides overperformed last season. Fulham had the 16th best expected goals in the Premier League, so they overperformed by 6 places, which just shows that Fulham were really clinical with the chances they did get. Nottingham Forest were 19th with the expected goals, and they went on to finish 16th, so maybe they were quite clinical as well, as they overperformed by 3 places. And AFC Bournemouth were 20th on the expected goals, but they still finished in 15th place, which shows that AFC Bournemouth took the chances that came their way. All 3 sides had pretty similar records when it came to keeping clean sheets. Fulham did just do the best with 9 clean sheets in the Premier League last season. AFC Bournemouth got 8 clean sheets. I think Neto was fantastic last year. Nottingham Forest got 8 clean sheets, the majority of them being with Dean Henderson, even though Keylor Navas came in towards the end of the season and did keep 1 or 2. Fulham's goalkeeper Bernd Leno was absolutely fantastic last year. When it it comes to personal favourites of the players that these teams have got, I think Kenny Tete was fantastic. Alexander Mitrovic obviously helped himself to some goals last season, which was fantastic to see. A lot of people have said that he's a championship cheat code, but nothing more than that. He obviously proved that to be a myth last season. And let's not forget, he obviously missed a few games with the suspension last year. I think Willian played really well for Fulham last year, and João Palhinha, what a player he is. As for AFC Bournemouth, like I say, the goalkeeper Neto, just brilliant. Philip Billing, 7 goals, really good season from him. Solanke got 6 Premier League goals. Jefferson Lerma had a good season, but he's obviously now gone on to Crystal Palace. I also think a lot of Bournemouth defenders did a decent job last year, despite them conceding a lot of goals through the season. I think Sensei and Lloyd Kelly had really good seasons. As for Nottingham Forest, they had about 500 players last season, but they did find the right formula to keep them up. Dean Henderson was really instrumental in the first half of the season, up until he got injured, of course. I think Keylor Navas came in and did a decent job after that. I am intrigued to see what goalkeepers Nottingham Forest have coming into this season. Brennan Johnson, obviously fantastic in his first season in the Premier League. He helped himself to 8 goals. Taiwo Awoniyi got 10 goals. He ended the season in really good form. I wonder if he'd have started every game for Nottingham Forest last year, how many goals he would have got, because I thought he was really impressive and a real handful towards the end of that season. Morgan Gibbs-White, 13 goal contributions from him. I think he was absolutely fantastic last season. And the recruitment of players like Danilo and Felipe, really, really good from Steve Cooper. It will be interesting to see then what players these 3 clubs are able to bring in going into next season. I do think that all 3 sides do need to chuck some money at it this season. I think we all know that the Premier League is getting stronger year on year, and the 3 sides that have just come up from the Championship will be desperate to stay up in their first Premier League season. So these 3 sides, Fulham, Forest and Bournemouth, don't want to be caught out napping in their second season. I think Fulham have brought together a really good team now. Marco Silva is doing a fantastic job, so it would be incredible to see them push on. AFC Bournemouth, I think their ambition is simple, just to get over the dotted line again. I do think that Gary O'Neill will be able to pull out some big results this season. He showed his tactical nous when he was able to grind out clean sheets when they needed them and go on a good run when they needed it in the Premier League to get away from that bottom 3. And as for Nottingham Forest, I've said how much I think Steve Cooper is an unbelievable manager, and I do think the Nottingham Forest fans are very influential. We saw how good they were at the City Ground. If they can improve on the road this season, there's no doubt they could push towards mid-table, but at the City Ground, what I expect is for them to be a hard team to beat. So then guys, do make sure to share your thoughts down below. It's just a quick little dive into these 3 teams coming into this season. Like I say, the business will be going on through the summer, so all 3 teams could be changing a little bit going into the start of the next season from what we saw at the end of the last season. Let me know your thoughts. Do Fulham, Bournemouth and Forest all stay up again? Could they all push on in the Premier League this year? Or do we expect a regression from 1, 2 or all 3 of them this year? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do make sure, as I say, to hit that like button, as it really does help the channel out. And do make sure to subscribe for more Premier League content. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.